Hello, this is Kenny Williamson, and welcome back to another episode of Melchizedek Chronicles. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. We're glad you're here. Very glad you're here. Today, I'm going to do a little bit of talking about something I've been looking into. I mean, I could have probably done some more research on it, but I was just going to throw this out there for anybody that has any questions or anything about it. And that's Soylent Green. Soylent Green. Yeah. That's come up here lately, and probably for a pretty good reason. Soylent Green is, it's people. Okay, it's people. A movie came out in the 70s. I think it was 73 or 74. It has Charlton Heston in it as the main character. And this movie is based in the future. And it just so happens it was based in 2022. Okay. Surprise. So it's based up into 2022. And in this dystopian future, basically, they've ran out of food and people are starving. And the government has come out with a supplement that people can eat. And it's these little green squares, and it's called Soylent Green. Well, this is going to be the end of the movie, okay? So spoiler alert if you've never seen the movie. At the end of it, Mr. Charlton Heston, he's screaming. He finds out that Soylent is people. So what the government's doing is they're killing people, and they're taking people from these, different areas and people that die, and they kill them as well. And they, crunch them down into these little freeze dry them or whatever and dye it green and grind them up into powder and create these little, squares. And it's called Soylent Green. So, come to find out, people are eating other people. So they're feeding you people. So, of course, the question becomes, and of course I've said this before, is I believe that, number one, Hollywood is ran by the devil. Okay, let's just get that out there right now. I call it Hellywood or Hollyweird. Okay, I personally believe, now I have no proof of this, okay? I personally believe that the devil may be required to show you his plans, okay? I think God somewhere, now this doesn't say this biblically, but I think maybe God has told the devil somewhere along the lines, he said, now look, I'm going to let you run these scams down there while you're the God of the earth, okay? I'm going to let you run a scam all day long, but I want you to tell them what you're doing. Now, if they choose not to believe it, if they choose to ignore it, that's on them. But I want you to put it out there. And that's why I believe that you have so many movies discussing these different things. I think that part of it is, look, I'm going to put this out here. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do, okay? And I'm going to have Hollywood actors play it all out for you. And then you're just, you're so stupid, you're going to think it's just a movie. There's no way that could really happen, right? So I'll put it in the form of movies. I'll make sure lots of actors and actresses talk about it. And it's just like these actors and actresses, and I have these on film. I need to play them. I've got an old podcast on it. But you have these different, actresses. They go on TV. They go on a late night talk show. It's always one of these late night talk shows. Okay? And I don't know if they don't think people are watching, or if there's a bunch of liberals watching it, or a bunch of devils watching it. I don't know. But they go on these late night talk shows, and they admit what they're doing. Okay? In one particular one, you've got a popular actress, and they talk about how pretty her face is and everything. And she says, well, I have to put baby's blood on it every night. And that should raise a red flag to a normal person. It's like, where would you get baby's blood? And then, and of course they all laugh it off. They always play a laugh track. So you hear all these people, ha, 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 like it's a joke. So they go on there and they tell you, oh, I'm putting baby's blood on my face, and they get a laugh. And then, as she talks about it, she says, well, it's blood from male babies' penises. Everybody laughs and claps. And then don't worry, they're not babies from the U.S., they're being killed or whatever they're doing in other countries, third world countries. Oh, everybody thinks it's a joke. They told the truth, and everybody laughs it off as a joke. Okay, and I've seen this time and time again. You got a couple of guys up there. They're both actors. One is gay. Okay, the gay one's like 50. The other one's like 25. The gay one looks younger than the other one. They're like, oh, how do you do it? How's your face look so young? Oh, baby's blood. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm serious, baby's blood. I completely can case my face in baby's blood every night. Congratulations. Now, if I said that, people would say, excuse me, sir, where'd you get the baby's blood? Oh, well, now, I've got a lot of dead babies laying around here. I would go to prison. Okay? But these guys do it, no problem. No problem. And that's all they talk about. I've got skit after skit after skit, video after video, where these Hollywood actors, they're revealing what they're doing. They tell you what they're doing. They always throw a laugh track in on top of it. Okay? And it's okay then. Everything's okay. Just let it go. But the devil is running that show, see? They're all Luciferians. They're all devil worshipers. All of them. So next time you turn on your favorite Netflix show with these big A-list actors, they're all devil worshipers. They're all worshiping Lucifer. They're all eating and drinking baby's blood. They admit it. They eat and drink their own and other people's bathroom stuff. Okay, they admit that. I've seen so many videos of them talking about drinking and eating it. They go to these parties and they drink and eat it. They're forced to drink and eat it. That's what they do. It's disgusting. Those are the big A-list actors that everybody looks up to like they're little demigods. Okay, they're trash. They're all going to be in hell. They're all going to be burning in hell, all of them. So, hey, that's just what it is. So this whole process, this whole thing is ran by the devil. So is there any wonder that everything they do tells you what they are doing and what they're about to do? So, this thing came out in the 70s, this movie, Soylent Green, and they claim that this is happening in 2022. It was happening back then. Okay, all those A-list actors, they're all into this kind of stuff. And we've seen it before. They've got stuff out on the Clintons called Frazzle Drip. If you've never heard of that, it's disgusting. Where they are literally, they're murdering kids left and right, for their adrenaline called adrenochrome. They talk about that in the movies. That's where it came out. They show it in the movies. And people, oh, it's a movie. Well, as many children come up missing every year, like, 300,000 a year, and completely unaccounted for and not a single hair ever found, they're going somewhere. Okay? They're going somewhere. These children that are being abused and used and put in cages and all this stuff that we know is going on, but nobody ever gets in trouble for it, where do you think those bodies are going? Okay? Well, that's that. They could be going into your food supply, depending on where you eat. Okay, so that's kind of a big thing right now is, let me just show you this. I think it's here. Let's see. Check it out here. Yeah, there it is. New, delicious Soylent Green. Miracle food of high energy plankton gathered from oceans of the world. Well, Is it plankton? Is it really? I don't know. Here a while back, okay. I've got a little deal here. We had a Swedish scientist speaking at Stockholm Summit, okay, and he proposed an unusual tactic in combating global climate change, because, you know, global climate change, which is a hoax, in case you don't know. They've been saying this for years. They've been saying this since I was a child. Every 5 to 10 years, they come out with a new, ridiculous, absolutely off the wall, all the oceans are going to, like 30, 40 years ago, they're like, all of the ice caps are going to melt, and the oceans are rising rapidly. It's melting. And then they show some picture of some island out there with a polar bear all emancipated looking, and they're like, you see that polar bear? It's starving to death out here because there's no snow and ice. All the ice melted. And then they show a picture that supposedly was earlier, 100 years, whatever, and there's a whole bunch of ice and snow there. The water level's rising. We're all going to die. Well, it hasn't went up. Nothing. Zero. Not even 1 inch. Not a centimeter. I don't even think it's went up a millimeter. Nothing. Zero. That's all a lie. Oh, well, acid rain. That was a big one. They literally would show you pictures of the earth melting and the rain. And I remember them telling you, don't go out in the rain. It can kill you. They didn't even want you going outside. Acid rain is going to burn your skin off. Well, there's no such thing. Never happened. It's just one after another after another. And it's funny because all of these people who are these big climate change people that are on TV, okay, people are listening to these devils. They all, after they scare everybody out of a place, like, you better not put a house in Hawaii over there. It's going to flood within a year. You're going to drown. The water's rising so fast. Well, as soon as they clear everybody out with fear and fires, they go in and buy the land and build a mansion right there on the beach. How convenient. See, they're not scared. They're not worried about that water level because they know it's a hoax. And the bank that loans the money on this stuff, they don't seem to be too concerned about it. Do you really think insurance companies would insure something if they knew the ocean was really rising and was going to flood the thing in a year? No, it's a lie. So now we've got climate change. So they've been trying this for years, but now we're going to put a new spin on it. Now we're going to say, do you know how we can combat global climate change? We need to eat human flesh. That's what this scientist said. This is a scientist, okay? Now, if you don't know my stance on that already, I'll just relay it for you. They're liars and they're devils. Okay, so is this guy. Anybody who talks about this stuff and promotes it is a liar and a devil. All of your climate change people are liars and devils. All of them. It's all fake. They get paid to put out these reports. And they want that big money coming in from our lying federal government. And they want you to believe in climate change, so you will give away everything you own or do whatever they want you to do and bow down to everything they say. How dare you mow your lawn with a lawnmower? That's going to destroy the earth. Now, I can have 5 private jets and I can fly over the world and I can have 10 mansions. But you better not run a lawnmower. Okay? And I remember, and this is, off the subject. It's not really off subject, but I remember these ships that were going out, looking for climate change up in the Arctic Ocean, and these huge ships. I mean, bigger than a cruise ship type deal. And they're up there flying their little drones, trying to take pictures of a dry patch of land where there should be ice. Well, what's funny is one of the ones went up there and got stuck in the ice because, there's not supposed to be any ice up there. It's all melted. Well, they got stuck in the ice and had to be rescued. But it's funny that one of the ships went up there and they had the filming and they were showing it. That ship, I think, was burning something like 12. It was either 5 or 8,000 gallons of diesel a day. to keep this thing running. A day. They're having to fill these things up with tanker cars full of diesel. Okay? It was burning like 5,000 gallons a day. And they're up there in their little, acting like, in my opinion, idiots, claiming that they're helping and climate change is going to kill somebody. So on this little trip, that's the kind of stuff they're doing. But they need to tell me I can't run a diesel tractor, see? I can't brush hog with a tractor. I can't have a diesel pickup truck because I'm polluting because of the climate. Now, I wouldn't burn 5,000 gallons worth of diesel in a lifetime. But they can burn 5,000 a day. No problem. They're not the issue. I'm the issue. Okay? And so now we've went on to that, onto this climate change hoax, into AC units and everything else, and I know all about that too. And so now, you can't have any refrigerant because it might harm the atmosphere. Okay? So, but they can do whatever they want, but you can't do anything. That's how that works. So now it's climate change. So this fool here, this liar, this devil, he goes on there, and he's a Stockholm School of Economics professor and researcher. And he believes that eating human meat derived from dead bodies might be able to save the human race if only the world society were to awaken to the idea. So they want you to start eating dead bodies. And scientists are proposing it. Okay? He says, so his argument for human cannibalism was front and center during this talk called, Can You Imagine Eating Human Flesh? Okay. He says, it's always conservative taboos against cannibalism, it can change over time if people would simply just try it. Just try eating human flesh. That's what he wants you to do. Anyway, so some of his talking points here were, humans are too selfish to live sustainably, because, see, they're too selfish to live and sustain themselves, because, see, cannibalism would be sustainable. So eat dead people. That's sustainable, but you're too selfish to be sustainable because you won't eat dead people. You won't eat a corpse. You won't be a cannibal. How dare you? Imagine that. Okay. So he said, I feel somewhat hesitant, but not to appear overly conservative. I'd have to say I'd be open to at least tasting it. That's what he told the TV show. So, yeah. And of course, somebody with common sense, which is very few, says, before human meat becomes the next cuisine trend on your cuisine, your next cuisine trend, it says, history shows there are potential health risks to cannibalism. Really? Who would have thunk it? You mean it's dangerous to eat dead bodies? Yeah, it is. So we have another report here where it says, a tribe in Papua New Guinea, headhunters, I'm sure, they practiced eating their dead as an alternative to allowing them to be consumed by worms. I guess, hey, why is that worm getting all the food? I want that food. Give me that dead body. How dare a worm get my body in that? Yeah. How dare a worm eat on a corpse? I want that corpse. Okay, so they started eating their dead bodies. Probably live ones, too. They probably killed them. But guess what? It says the cultural practice led to an epidemic of a disease called kuru, which is some type of a death. And according to the U.S. Natural Library of Medicine, the disease is caused by an infectious protein found in contaminated human brain tissue. Where have we heard that before? Do you remember that one? It's called mad cow disease. They had that over there in Europe. See, they came up with a brilliant idea not too long ago. They're like, you know what? We're taking these cows and we're slaughtering them for hamburger meat, and we've got these remains left over we can't do anything with that nobody will eat. So why don't we grind it up and feed it back to the cows? Hey, that way we can get rid of this stuff and we can feed our cows. Well, guess what? Come to find out, you're not supposed to be eating brains. Humans aren't supposed to be eating human brains, and cows aren't supposed to be eating cow brains. So, of course, it caused all kinds of stuff, and it was called mad cow disease. And then what they did, because they're so smart, they hurried and slaughtered a bunch of those cows and then fed it to people, and the people got mad cow disease. And it puts holes all in your brain, and, of course, it kills you. There's no recovering from it. Okay? Once it happens, you're dead. So, you think it's a good idea to be eating brains from humans? No, it's not. And it just so happens this same guy here, this scientist, and I don't have a picture of it, but I watched a deal with AOC, who's a blooming idiot and a liar and a devil as well. She's promoting this new Green Deal, or was. And, how the climate, because they're paying her to say it, and she's a brain dead idiot. And so she has a meeting, and this kid comes up, a girl, and she starts saying, eating dead people. I've been listening to a scientist, and he says we've got 1 month to live. We've only got 1 or 2 months before the whole world just falls to pieces because of climate change. And they believe it. See, fools like this are saying it, and people that have no discernment and are unsaved believe it. And some saved people believe it, which blows my mind. So, what's she do? So AOC said, so she goes up there and pulls her jacket off and has a shirt on that says, we don't just need to eat dead people, we need to start eating all babies. So every baby that's born needs to be murdered and eaten. And that is the only way we're going to get through this. We've only got months. We don't have any time. She went crazy and they had to escort her out. And it's all on video. You can Google it. Just go to Google and type, girl wants to eat babies, AOC. You'll see it. It's all over. It was all over the news. That's the kind of blooming, demonic devils this crap breeds. You have all these people sitting at home that are unsaved. They believe everything they hear and see on TV. Okay, and it's being ran by the devil. Okay, and so they literally have these people thinking they need to start murdering and eating babies because the earth is going to end just any moment. And AOC, she's a devil and a liar herself, but even she said, well, I think we have a little more time than that. Even she couldn't agree with that because that would be ludicrous. And that was, a year or two ago? We're still here doing just fine. Everything they do is a liar. It's all fake. Okay? So, is this new? No, it's not new. Let me prove it to you. Okay, in Leviticus 26:29, and ye shall eat the flesh of your own sons, and the flesh of your daughters shall you eat. Spoken by God as a warning of judgment to these people for breaking his commandments. He told them, you don't want to follow you don't want to follow my commandments, and you don't want to be a Christian? No, don't worry. Pretty soon you'll be eating your own kids. And they did. Okay, we're way worse now than they ever were back then. I mean, they were bad back then, but good night. Think about what we're doing now. Trans, gay, filth, pedophilia, murder, taking these kids and beating them and killing them and eating them. Yeah, it's called judgment. These guys got judged, okay? God's people got judged, and we're going to get judged for doing the same thing. So don't think God's not going to allow it not to happen, okay? I can just hear some Christian in some Babel building right now in some church saying, oh, that's new. God will never allow that to happen. He's allowed it to happen before, okay? Before. All right, so Deuteronomy 28:53. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, that means your kids, the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which the Lord thy God hath given thee, in the siege and in the straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee. So this was a curse to Israel for their disobedience. And so this had, that was one of the curses put on them. And, that's God saying it. Okay. How about this from 2 Kings 6:28? And the king said unto her, What aileth thee? And she answered, This woman said unto me, Give thy son that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. So we boiled my son, and we ate him. They murdered their kid and ate him. And then I said unto her the next day, Give thy son, and we shall eat him. And she's hid her son. So this is a real account during a famine in Samaria caused by a siege from the king of Syria. So they were hungry, and the one says, they both got kids, and the one says, let's eat your son today, and tomorrow we'll eat mine. So they murder the one kid, boil him, and eat him. And the next day, the woman's like, okay, let's have your son now. I'm hungry again. Oh, well, she went and hid her son. It's biblical. So, do you think they're going to have a hard time doing it now? These people are eating their own kids. Can you imagine boiling a baby and eating it? These people are sick. They're sick. Okay, well, let's see here. Take a look at this right here, if you can see this. Okay. It shows a nice, pretty, delicious veggie burger that I see there. A lot of people, I've got to have me a veggie burger. Let's see what the headline says from Fox News. DNA from humans, rats, and other animals found in some veggie burgers. This was published in 2016, but it was updated in 2017. Wow. DNA from humans, rats. Sounds good, don't it? I think I'd like to have some of that. Where can I get me some of them veggie burgers? Delicious. I've got the little sample here of what it said underneath of it. It says, in a sample of 89 different veggie burgers collected from a range of brands. Not even one brand. Yeah, veggie burger. Clear Labs identified several problems with substitutions, hygienic issues, and pathogenic contamination. Imagine that. Testing also found 2 samples that contained beef DNA. Well, how are you going to get beef DNA in a veggie burger that's from vegetables? They also had one containing rat DNA and one containing human DNA. Oh, boy. Go get you some of them veggie burgers. Okay? Go get you some. Oh, they're good for you. I'm a vegetarian. Are you? How do you know what you're eating unless you grew it yourself? You don't. Because you sure can't afford to do any of these DNA tests. You don't know what's in it. Okay? All right. One purported black bean burger was found to contain no black beans at all. Okay. Let's see. According to the study, while 4 of the veggie burgers tested did contain pathogenic DNA that could lead to food poisoning. Okay, let's see. Also notable is the fact of the study, which examined the contents of all kinds of burgers. 23% of these burgers, of vegetarian patties, contained some form of discrepancy between the product and the label. Okay? So in other words, 23% doesn't have in it what the label says it has in it. And they didn't even test that many burgers. Can you imagine if they tested 1 million burgers? They'd probably have 60 or 70%. Come to find out, you're probably eating rats, kids, cows, cats, dogs, you name it. It's all in there. You know it is. You know it is. Don't fool yourself. Why do you think there's a McDonald's on every corner? Okay? Think about that for a second. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so our findings suggest that the beef industry as a whole has benefited from stringent regulation on vegetarian burger producers and of unknown risk and the potential need for more stringent safety measures. And manufacturers should ensure there's a clear, consistent labeling on best handling. Yeah. They're not going to tell you everything that's in there to begin with. Why? Because they're trying to hide it. I mean, come on. You know, and more from this daily meal news here, which were links that I didn't print off. But one of them, South African experts, pretty sure human DNA is in meat products, which they're right. And there's human DNA in your hot dogs, a disturbing new report says. Well, we knew that was coming, didn't we? I mean, check out this KFC deal here from not very long ago. Let me take a look at that. You see that? If you're looking at the video version of this, okay, I'm showing you KFC's intro into what you could call Soylent Green. It's called Beyond Fried Chicken, and they have the nuggets there. And if you look at the nuggets on the inside, what it looks like is disgusting, number one, but it looks like human flesh. Okay? And of course, notice the color of the box. Green. Soylent Green. They're putting it right out there for you. Now, if you're looking at this, take a look at that picture. Look real hard. Okay? Yeah. Here a while back, you know, a lady, well, some people tested McDonald's burgers. Okay, and so they have a hamburger, right? Beef, right? It's a cow. Okay, so they test this thing. They says that it has over 1,000 different DNAs in it from different cows, plus others that are unidentified. There's so many pieces of DNA, they said it's a minimum of 1,000 cows. Think about, what? So somehow, if you take a cow and have it butchered and you take it down and you have it prepped, whatever, at the butcher shop, that's your cow, and that cow is what the meat comes from. But somehow McDonald's cows, in their beef, one burger has over 1,000 cows in it. How on earth do you get that many pieces of cow in one burger this thin? Okay, plus all kinds of other DNA that they can't even distinguish what it is. So what is it? Well, you know what it is. It's rats, it's cats, it's kids. Okay? KFC tried it too with their nuggets. They squish up a bunch of stuff in these nuggets and you bite into it, it looks like a sponge. Or it looks like some kind of nasty something, and they claim it's meat. Well, it's something. What kind of meat? Nobody ever does a DNA test on it, but when they do, we're showing up thousands of different things in one item. That's not concerning. Where did these thousands of different things come from? Who knows? You won't catch me eating another McDonald's burger, I promise you that, or nuggets or anything else ever again. I won't do it. I don't trust them. Anyway, so a lady goes on there here a while back, and, you know, she bites into one of their burgers or the nuggets, and there's a baby's tooth in there. So did that accidentally fall out of some baby's deal into the deal, or is it a ground up baby in there? Are there baby parts in there along with it? Okay, if you don't think they're using that kind of stuff, you're not thinking. They're even trying to use baby parts in some of the different things that you get, you know, from the doctor, medicine that you don't need for diseases you don't have. Come to find out, certain companies like Johnson & Johnson, they use aborted baby parts in theirs. Aborted baby stuff. In vaccines. In shots. They want that stuff into your body, okay? If you won't eat it, they'll put it in there one way or another. They will lie to you and tell you it's something else, and you'll go up there and you'll get your thing, and you're getting baby parts and monkey parts. Come to find out there's rhesus monkey parts in there, DNA from a monkey, DNA and all kinds of stuff from aborted babies. It's sick. But that's what's coming down to. Okay, now, Hollywood has to tell it to you, so they produce movies. All right, let me show you another one here. They're doing it for kids, too. We even got your kids' version. Let's take a look here. Here we go. There's your Beyond Fried Chicken. Take a look at the middle. And there is you a nice Krabby Patty from SpongeBob SquarePants. Now, this particular episode right here, of course, I'm a SpongeBob fan, if you want to call me that. I've watched a lot of episodes. The Krabby Patties were good patties that were fresh made by SpongeBob. Well, Mr. Krabs decides he wants to sell the place. So what's he do? He comes out and a company comes in, kind of like McDonald's, and buys it. And all of a sudden, the Krabby Patties are no longer real meat or anything. Now they are this gray, mushed up junk that looks exactly like Beyond Fried Chicken, as you can see in the picture. You've got this gray, nasty stuff mushed together, looks like a burger, and then painted to look like a burger, so a bunch of fake coloring on it, and people are eating it, and they don't realize what the inside is until finally somebody looks, and they're like, ugh, what am I eating? So they're telling it to you even in cartoons. Okay? They're eating it. So let's see here. We've already shown you that one. We already got you that one. I might not have showed you this one here. I think I may have. They're, claiming it's plankton. Yeah. And then if you really want to know what it is, here we go. Okay, that's what you're eating. There's your fast food chain burger right there. When they do a little, DNA test and you've got thousands and thousands of different parts of DNA. I wonder how true that is. Oh, it's true. It's true. That's what they're doing. I mean, they're talking about it all the time. They're putting it out there in front of your face. You don't think that's a coincidence, do you? That they came out with a movie called Soylent Green. And guess what it is? It's body parts. And so now we're making these Beyond we're doing all this stuff and putting that same color green on it. We're making the same shape and everything and saying it's plankton, green. And, they've got other stuff here. Let's take a look at this right here. This is on a shelf in a local place. You see that? We can get creamy chocolate Soylent, or we can get vanilla Soylent. Supposedly all from plants. Plant protein. You see it right there? That's a real box on a real shelf in a real store. Yeah. That's not fake. This is not fake. They're really producing this stuff. They've got other stuff too, other energy drinks and stuff called Soylent now. So are they making fun of the movie, or are they just fulfilling what the movie's already basically told you is going to happen? We've got scientists talking about eating people, claiming it for climate change. We've got them talking now about taking bodies and, they freeze them, freeze dry them, do this, do that, turn them into powder, throw them back in the ground, as whatever, planting trees with them and doing all kinds of stuff, putting them back into the soil because we can't have a graveyard. We can't have a body anywhere. And, of course, they're also, cremating them left and right and going and burying them. I mean, I guess, you take a body in to get cremated and you get a handful of ashes back. Do you know what those ashes are from? No, you don't. You're just hoping that whoever you drop this body off, one of your loved ones, that they actually did what they're supposed to do and took the ashes, But we both know if you've got a crematory sitting there and they're cranking out bodies, because, I'm sure the ashes are getting all mixed up. It's not like they go in there and completely clean that thing out. They're going to do one, there's going to be some ashes, and they're going to scrape the ashes into a pile, and there's ashes probably all inside of this thing everywhere. They're not going to blow it out and clean it. Even if they did, they're blowing out ashes everywhere. And then they put another one in there, and so you got ashes mixed and mixed and mixed and mixed. So you may have majority. I don't know. And then they could hand you ashes to a dog, and you wouldn't know it. You'd have no idea. They could say, oh, we took care of that. Here's you a handful of ashes. You really don't know what you're getting. I mean, surely they wouldn't do that. I'm sure they wouldn't here where I'm at, but in some big city, they need body parts for stuff. They're needing to eat. They're wanting to eat their flesh at their nasty, sick, disgusting Hollywood places. Okay, where are you getting this flesh from? Where are you getting these dead bodies from? Where are you getting baby's blood from? Somehow they keep coming up with it. There was another one, and I could show that to you. It was in the paper over there in another country. It's one of these big, singers, one that's a woman, some sick psycho, and she goes over there and stays in a hotel, and the cleaners come in to clean it, and the bathtub is completely to the brim full of blood. Okay, well, is that a surprise? No, because you watch all these music videos and stuff, all these big movie people and these singers, they all show themselves in bathtubs full of blood, rubbing it all over themselves. Now, you're assuming that because it's being filmed for a video or a movie, that it's fake blood, right? Supposedly. But this wasn't being filmed. So these people show up to clean the room. I think it was Lady Gaga after she left, and the bathtub's full of blood. They didn't seem to think it was fake blood, so they refused to clean the place. Called the police. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. It's Lady Gaga. It's a Hollywood person. It's a devil. It's a devil worshiper. The devil's got them. They got your back. The question is, where do you get a bathtub full of blood? How do you take a trip to another country? How do you take a trip anywhere and say, I need a bathtub? Where did you get the blood from? Where'd you get it? I mean, is that something you could have delivered in? That's a pretty good question. So these people are bathing in other people's blood. They're eating their flesh. They're doing all of it. All the time. Is there any wonder they want you doing it too? It's just another form of Baal worship. It's another form of the devil worship. Okay? Sacrificing people and eating them. Okay? But, hey, I'm not willing to do that because I'm a good Christian. Well, don't worry. We're going to put it in your food and you're going to do it anyway. So go to your little, places on the corner that are on every single corner in every single town, multiple, don't pay any attention to the gristle and the nasty, disgusting stuff that's in your burger. Just eat it. Okay, ooh, isn't it good? Don't worry about the health benefits. Don't worry about what it's doing to you. Don't worry if you're eating somebody's missing child. Have your burger. Enjoy it. It's got thousands and thousands of pieces of DNA from cows from God knows where. Only God knows. All these pieces and chunks that have somehow probably been picked off the floor, God knows where. 1,000 cows in one burger. It's disgusting. So, is the Soylent Green fake? I don't think it is. I think it's coming to a town near you real soon. I think you got to be real careful what you eat. I mean, they're already talking about taking all of your food and putting all these chemicals in it and all these drugs in it, because if they want you to have a certain drug, because they deem it's necessary, they're just going to spray it on the food because they know you're going to go eat the food, so you're going to get it. I mean, they're probably already doing it all over. And we know that we know, we don't know for sure who and what is in some of this food. But, anytime somebody does a DNA test on this stuff, they get very surprising results that nobody would think of. And so, so now we've got scientists pushing eating people wanting to eat people. The Bible talks about people eating people. People ate people back then. And some of this has to do with judgment because they wouldn't obey his commandments. Well, what are we doing now? I mean, people think, well, America, we're a Christian nation. Sure we are. We're the ones that have Hollywood. Every one of them over there are worshiping the devil. They're all Luciferians. They're eating and murdering and killing people left and right. That's all they do. We're the ones that has that. Nothing but pornography, nothing but filth. We're the ones that have all that. We're one of the main ones, other than some of them in Europe, that are pushing the trans and the gay and mutilating children. We're also one of the big ones that murders all of the unborn children for, abortion. So women can go out and get pregnant and just keep killing their babies as a sacrifice to Baal, a sacrifice to the devil. We're the ones doing that right here in the good old USA. You don't think God's going to have his judgment come down on us? We're done. We are not some godly nation, okay? We're ungodly. We're doing worse than they ever did back in the Old Testament. Way worse. Oh yeah, they were doing this kind of stuff back then, and they were making golden calves and everything else and worshiping the devil. That's what we're doing. I'm not personally doing it, but that's what America does. We have idols, we worship the devil, and all these people, it's all they do. Okay? So, is God going to allow us to start being cannibals? Well, of course he is. He's going to allow it. He's not going to stop it. It's judgment. It's happened in the Bible before, and it's going to happen now. It's probably already been happening. And like some of these people do, which you can find this on X, people have done the math, and they start looking up how many different millions of burgers some of these restaurant chains like McDonald's sell a day. And they're like, there's not that many cows. Where are they getting the beef from? Where's it coming from? Nobody seems to know. Maybe it's not all beef. Have you ever thought of that? Have you ever thought about Soylent Green? Well, here it is. Here's that Soylent Green. There it is, We know what it is. Let me remind you, if you want to see the picture. Well, there that one is. Let's remind you of this other one here. Ah, there it is. There's your Soylent Green. So, yeah. There it is, boys and girls, and there's you some more. And I'll tell you right now, you see that picture there of this Beyond Fried Chicken? It's disgusting looking. You see the color of that and the texture? Okay? I'm going to make a long story real short. But many, many years ago when I was a security guard at a college, they have a science department, and they had cadavers in there. And I went in there one evening to make my little rounds, and they had students in there working on these cadavers. They had 2 of them in there. And they had cut this cadaver's leg apart, and it had an implant in the knee, and they were exposing that, and looking at it and all this stuff. But all of the flesh that they had, of course, I guess this body was, I don't know how they preserve them. I really don't. There was clearly no blood anywhere, but they had opened this thing up, and they had literally picked at this thing, and there was chunks of meat, if you will, okay, off of this scientifically donated cadaver. And I'm going to tell you right now, it looked exactly like what you see here in this picture. It had the same color, and it had the same texture. Okay, and I saw that with my own 2 eyes. I'll never forget it. So I don't know what that junk is in that picture. They're claiming that I don't even know what they're claiming it is, honestly. But I know what it looks like. But we wouldn't do that. We wouldn't put meat off of a body in there. No. We're a lot higher up society than that. We wouldn't do that. Oh, no. This is America. We wouldn't do that. Okay. It's been done before. It's probably been going on right now, would be my guess. So, anyway. I guess that's going to be all on this one. I'm trying to keep these things down under an hour. I really am. But you know I'm a big talker. You know it. Sorry about that. And this particular episode, by the way, is dedicated to somebody. This is dedicated to my son-in-law Ryan. Okay, he's asked me several times, when are you gonna do an episode on Soylent Green? When are you gonna do an episode on Soylent Green? Well, this is it. Here it is. You know, I hope it's a good one, because you need to watch what you're eating. Okay, he does, I do, we all do. They're slipping stuff in your food. I believe it, and I believe that like I said, I believe the devil, I think he's required to do it. Maybe not, but it seems to me like he's required to tell you what he's doing. And these people, that's why they do and say the things they say. They admit it on TV. And, you know, I've got clips on another episode. I've got a podcast on it. Like, for example, The Rock. You know, he's in a skit, has nothing to do with anything, and he's sitting there talking, blah, 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 and he's like, da, 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 hail Satan, da, 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 and pretends he didn't say it. But he said it. So I think these Hollywood devils are maybe required to show their allegiance to the devil. That's why they'll say stuff about Lucifer. They say stuff about Satan. But they always try to laugh it off as if it's not true. And then they'll tell you, hey, you know, we're eating babies, haha, and they laugh, and they always have a track with it, like people laughing in the background. Always got all these people laughing, and then they clap. And that's how they get away with it. They put it right in front of your face. They tell you exactly what they're doing, and people laugh it off like it's a joke. They admit to committing crimes, and they just laugh it off as a joke over and over and over. And people are just like, oh, yeah, watch another movie. Hey, in this movie, everybody got ate up. In this movie, they compressed everybody to wafers, and everybody ate people. It's just a movie, though. Hey, what's that wafer you got over there? Let me say, oh, delicious. Think about it. Think about it. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave a comment on Spotify, on YouTube. You can email me. Go to any one of my two websites. It's flatbro.com, kennywilliamson.com, truthseekersministry.org. You can get in touch with me with any of those. Is there anything else? Oh, my email, truthseekers2012@gmail.com. Check it out. Like it. Love it. Share it. Send me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Tell me what you think. You been eating any Soylent Green? Have you? I don't know. Okay. Thanks for listening. And until we meet again, God bless you.